Why am I so afraid to experiment these days? It's like a fear of losing what you have by trying something different. But it makes no sense, because if the path of me continuing to do what I'm doing now leads to me stopping, then changing and experimenting can either lead to it failing or succeeding, but the worst case scenario of it failing isn't any worse, I don't think, than just sort of doing it until you hate it and you stop it. So then why not experiment? I have no good reason not to. I'm not a big fan of shots like that. They don't make any sense. Obviously somebody has set up the camera. It was me. In fact, to kind of break the illusion even further, I showed you that I already came to the studio, set up the camera, and then set it up, and then showed up at the studio. I guess it's kind of cool. Like, vlogs were kind of cool. I remember like really liking Casey Neistat's videos, and he probably pioneered a lot of that. You set up the camera, you do it, you set up the camera, you do it again, you know, set up the camera. If you're setting up the camera, but I feel like YouTube should be a lot more just to the camera of a medium, not one where you're trying to really catch the creator doing things that they're doing, you know, even though this video itself is kind of a BTS video, but I just think it should be a bit more honest and to the camera, which is interesting because I've already repeated several of the lines I'm saying to the camera now multiple times just to make sure that they sounded right. So is anything really authentic when it comes to YouTube? I like this Switch Pod. I don't think I've ever really talked about it, but it's good. It's a lot better than the Joby Gorilla Pods that, you know, everybody used to use. Speaking of Casey Neistat, obviously, the Gorilla Pod was his weapon of choice. Gorilla Pods suck. I bought one. I think I even have an old video where I was like, Gorilla Pods are great because they're great for a week or two, and then you realize that they just suck because they stop working right and your camera falls and stuff. Anyway, the Switch Pod's been pretty good though. I don't vlog very often, but it's been all right. Anyway, this place is a mess. You can see, for me, I'm pretty, you know, much of a neat freak when it comes to keeping clean. And this is a kitchen. I don't really live here anymore. This is just a studio, but the studio is a kitchen. And when I come in there with packages, you can see that I just kind of put things everywhere. This is going to be one of those weird complaints. But I've got too many packages coming. And again, I'm falling into this issue where it's like, do I just keep making these videos, these product videos? Do I have image stabilization turned on? I didn't. Now I have it on. This camera's normally on a tripod, so... Alright, sorry if that was a bit shaky early on there. Yeah, so... I don't know, am I editing all this stuff out? What's going on? Anyway, the struggle here is that I have a lot of stuff that I've been accumulating that companies are sending me that, you know, they expect me to make videos on, and I don't want to just keep making the same old videos all the time, and so I'm struggling with that. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here, you know. This is the Atomos Ninja 5 Plus purple cables. These were sent over for a new PC build that I'm doing. So that's what all these things are. You know, graphics card, motherboard, power supply, another computer case, and then, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this stuff much. This is some new iFootage, like cool monopod bases that they're coming out with next month that I'm, you know, maybe I'll talk about it. I don't know. If I can talk about this stuff, you know, less formally, I might enjoy that more. Anyway, so I got all that stuff. There's like a lens over there that I don't think I'm allowed to talk about. And then down here, what do we got? Let me move my backpack. By the way, if anybody been wondering, I'm still rocking that Tenba backpack. Love that thing. I think I have a video on it. Maybe not. I don't know. This monitor is going to get a video. This is the new Asus It's a 32-inch 4K. It's like $6,000 or something. I think Linus has a video on it where he called it like the God monitor or whatever. It's the greatest monitor of all time. We'll find out. I haven't actually tested it yet, but that's one that I'm interested in making a video on that and the computer, because I do like computer stuff. And then over there I've got more computer stuff, but it's on top of some lights that I don't think I'm allowed to talk about. And then this bedroom, I mean, this is, we're not even gonna go in there. It used to be a bedroom, now it's box storage. Anyway, so it's feeling a little bit overwhelming because it's like, what do I get started with? And then all my videos take a really long time to make, and it feels like it piles up, and you're like, ugh. Anyway, what am I even talking about here? By the way, in case you're seeing in the background here, you're like, that's not the chair. Yeah, I stole the chair that I was using here and brought it to the home office because I edited there longer, so I wanted that's the autonomous like ergo chair. So I'm sticking that there and then put the gaming chair back here. Yeah, this is basically an ingest station. What am I just giving you a tour of what am I doing here? The reason why I'm here in the studio today is I have to make a video for Storyblocks, which is, a recurring sponsor on my channel, which I'm very thankful for because, they basically give me like a salary in a sense. If you have the same sponsor that, I do 2 spots a month every month with Storyblocks, and I negotiated it for a year at a flat rate. So it's basically like a salary for the year, which is nice to have in an internet environment where a lot of things are variable. AdSense is up and down, affiliate sales are up and down. So it's nice to have but the concern is that they, reasonably so, expect you to kind of do the videos in a certain way, like actually get 2 in each month. Don't do 3 in one and then 1 and so on. And they prefer if you can do it a little bit earlier on in the month. Now that's not happening this month because it's the 25th of September right now. So I'll be lucky if I even post whatever this is, if this is anything, before the month's over. So I basically came to the studio today to be like, I gotta make a video for Storyblocks. And that's kind of a weird motivator, if you think about it. It's honest, though. This is something that, probably a lot of YouTubers might not necessarily talk about, but because I have YouTuber friends, this happens all the time. You go, I gotta make a new video for insert sponsor there. And if I don't get it done by the end of the month, I'm not going to get paid or something. That's a real thing that happens. And so I wonder sometimes if videos are, made up videos or forced videos, whatever, just to satisfy the sponsor, which is essentially what I'm doing today. But I'm also using it as an opportunity for me to sort of hopefully break free of this pattern that I'm kind of stuck in. So just in case this actually turns into a video, thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring it. The reason why I struggle with and talk about this whole breaking the pattern thing all the time is because there's a fear that goes along with these YouTube videos where I've been known for a certain structure. I remember listening to a lot of my YouTuber friends talk about burnout and the way they describe burnout, and I always thought that doesn't make any sense, what that burnout is, because certain aspects of it to me still don't make any sense. I mean, YouTube as a job is a great job, and the certain aspects of the work aren't very hard. For me, though, what I think I can actually relate to burnout on now, and maybe that's what people are talking about all the time, is it's being your persona. Like, I'm mostly myself on the camera and what I do. That's pretty much me, but it's still a performance, and it's like, I don't want to keep performing all the time and doing the same tricks, and nobody's making me, but it's like the platform kind of makes you, because you want to keep it going and you want to keep, cashing those checks and seeing the comments and pleasing people, and you almost have to stay true to what you're doing or like stay consistent with what you've already established. But I change, things change, interests change. And I know that there's so many of you that are really supportive that would probably just say, yeah, well, you adapt and change, and there's lots of us that will stay with you. And I think that's great. But there's part of me that just doesn't believe it. There's part of me that's like, if you stop doing what you're doing, you're going to lose your audience and then you're going to regret it. I don't know. This is the opposite angle of what you usually see. Right now the camera is against my purple tool pegboard facing the other camera right there. I was going to start this video, well, I had this idea where I was going to start it like, I wake up, and then I go do my things, and maybe I was going to title it, you know, A Day in the Life of Gerald Undone, or what am I? A camera YouTuber? A Day in the Life of a camera YouTuber? I don't know. Who cares? I was going to title it that, and then do the whole day in the life thing. But when it comes to my YouTube process versus a day in my life, they're actually completely different. And I don't know how to sort of mesh those two things together into a cohesive video. So if I do get up, I get up, and then if I do get up, are there days where I don't? So yeah, a day in the life of me as a YouTuber is really a lot of sitting at the computer at home, just kind of, doing that kind of thing. The shooting, the coming to the studio, the exciting kind of BTS part of it is very small in comparison. Hot tip. If you open a lot of boxes, everybody's always got their knives and like, ooh, my everyday carry and all that. Your knife gets bunged up pretty good from cutting boxes open and all that tape, and it loses its edge. You want a little tip? Get one of these. These are like waiter's knives or butler's knives or whatever you want to call them. They just have like a little serrated edge on them for opening wine bottles. So you can see there's a corkscrew there. This little serrated edge, it doesn't matter how bunged up with tape it gets, you can open boxes easy, and it's sort of like safer because there's only a little bit of a blade sticking out. And if it does get all chewed up, what do you care? It's not some, premium knife. So I leave that there, open up the boxes. These shots are part of the process of relaxing a little bit with the form of these videos, because normally, I have sort of like the one perfect shot. I thought if I just move around the space and just shoot at a bunch of different angles, it would help me sort of break down that wall. I guess that is sort of the fourth wall in a sense, but I mean, YouTube videos are always about breaking down the fourth wall. But the idea of the set, I'd break down the conventional set and kind of move around. So I'm trying that now. And I think it's working. I'm shooting at 1.8. So am I fully leaning into the idea or not? And I've been keeping the white balance consistent. I just have it locked at I think like 5100 Kelvin. Let me check. Yeah. So you're getting to kind of experience the different light temperatures of the regular lights in here plus the studio lights. By regular lights, I mean just household fixtures. So yeah, you're getting to see when it goes warm or cool and that kind of thing. I suppose I should tell you about Storyblocks, just in case this does become a video with the Storyblocks integration. I've got this read memorize, by the way, which is funny. So what if I try not to do the memorize one, if that's even possible? I'll think of it, but then say something else. So the idea is you need stock footage for something, right? To fill in a gap probably in a project because you couldn't get the shot for whatever reason. Storyblocks has a huge catalog of stock footage. And a lot of it is in 4K, but if not, at least 1080p. The subject matter is very, very broad. Honestly, I've made this a challenge before. The last one, I got Daniel, the guy who edits the Not a Podcast ones. I just said some random things, and of course, he was able to find the stuff on Storyblocks. So literally everything's on there, and the interface is easy to use, and that's all you really need when it comes to stock footage. Like, can I find the stuff? Is the pricing structure going to give me a headache? No, you pay your fee and then you can use the stuff however you want, commercially or personally, unlimitedly, and you go at it. So it's a great platform. It's easy to use. I think what I'd like to be able to do is sit down here, in a future video and just go, here's something, I got this thing. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about what I'm excited about, what I'm not excited about. Or maybe I just need to do something completely different. October's going to be a busy month. I've got a bunch of stuff that I agreed to do. And some of the stuff's exciting. There's some things in October you guys are going to want to see. Definitely. There needs to be a point where I go, okay, I want to do something different. I want to change it up a little bit. Because if I don't sort of commit to it somehow, then like I said, between now and finishing up that October burst, there's going to be a bunch more emails that are for November where, I guess that's exciting and I should probably talk. And it's going to go on forever. And it's hard to complain about it because it going on forever isn't terrible. It's not a terrible life. And so I don't want to make it seem like I'm dumping on YouTube or that, like I said, it's a good job. But I think I'd rather maybe help other people be able to do what I did or have the advantages of the lifestyle that I get to have now thanks to YouTube. I think I'd rather pay it forward in some way instead of just sort of milking the Undone platform, my show, just doing more episodes of my show. Something I always thought about TV is a great shows never run too long. And I think I'd like to do a different show now. Not in October. I guess in October we're going to keep doing the same show or some kind of hybrid. But I'm hoping after that, could change it up. Why am I so afraid to experiment these days? It's like a fear of losing what you have by trying something different. But it makes no sense, because if the path of me continuing to do what I'm doing now leads to me stopping, then changing and experimenting can either lead to it failing or succeeding, but the worst case scenario of it failing isn't any worse, I don't think, than just sort of doing it until you hate it and you stop it. So then why not experiment? I have no good reason not to. So I guess I'll start now.